and freezes the synapses in your brain, so your memories are literally frozen in place.
Welcome to Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy. In Loki Episode 3, Sylvie dropped a big reveal that everyone working at the TVA has been a variant all along.
That's ridiculous. They're all variants, just like us.
What?
Now, I did predict this in our Episode 2 Easter egg video, but now,
with the benefit of hindsight,
let's go back and look at all of the clues that the TVA has been brainwashing variants. You'll remember that variants are people who strayed off their chosen paths and alter the sacred timeline.
But sometimes people like you veer off the path the timekeepers created. We call those variants.
Up until now, we've been led to believe that variants are abnormalities that are jailed, forced into labor, or incinerated. Then, Episode 3 opens with Trapper C20 having margaritas in a bar, where she says,
"This place, I remember, I know this place.
So the biggest clue is what this guard said when Mobius discovered her.
I want to go home."
If she were created by the TVA, then the TVA should be her home. But instead, Sylvie unlocked some part of her mind that held her memories and reminded her of her past. The tragedy of the TVA workers is that, if they're all variants, then they have no homes. They've been destroyed. It's likely that Sylvie left C20 alive with her memories intact so she can reveal what she knows and tell the others that they're variants too. We have another theory that we talked about on Thursday, that Sylvie was actually raised in the TVA from birth, discovered the truth, and that's why she wants the Timekeepers dead. They stole her life from her and then brainwashed her into believing their propaganda.
Welcome to the Time Variance Authority. I'm Miss Minutes.
But there were other clues. Take Casey. He's just a little too stupid.
Kept saying he was gonna turn me into a fish, whatever that is.
Now, are we really supposed to believe that the TVA workers don't observe any aspect of time or consume any entertainment? Not even interdimensional cable like Rick and Morty?
My man's in my eyes, Johnson! Everything's black!
Casey doesn't know what a fish is because he doesn't remember what a fish is. Plus, on the metaphorical side of things, fish are famous for having very short memories.
I suffer from short-term memory loss.
Just like the workers in the TVA.
Her mind was messed up, everything clouded.
And by the way, that fish memory thing isn't real, it's an urban myth, but you get it. Casey, like all TVA workers, lives in a haze of structure. The Timekeepers control everyone by giving them menial tasks to do and then rewarding them with a lunch break or the satisfaction of knowing that they've helped the sacred timeline.
When they're finished, what happens then?
So are we. No more Nexus events, just order, and we meet in peace at the end of time.
Now, there's an obvious metaphor here in our own lives. Society tells us to believe that we should do our jobs, not ask questions, get paid, and die. Or, in the case of the TVA workers, never get paid and work for an eternity unable to die.
I had to pull a memory from hundreds of years prior, before she even fought for them.
Mobius is the best example of their brainwashing. He's an avatar for belief in the system.
Existence is chaos. Nothing makes any sense, so we try to make some sense of it.
When the TVA took away his memories, the TVA also took away any meaning for his life.
Because the TVA is my life, and it's real because I believe it's real.
But now the Timekeepers are providing Mobius and the other variants with structure.
I don't get hung up on believe, not believe. I just accept what is.
The Timekeepers have emptied them out, so they will rely on the TVA for a job. In our culture, a job gives your life meaning and helps determine your own self-worth. You may hate your job, hate the company, and hate your boss, but there's still some satisfaction when you finish the day and get paid. Now we understand Mobius's hobbies. He drinks Josta Cola, a drink from the 1990s. He's obsessed with jet skis, particularly how they were perceived in the early 90s.
There was a beautiful union of form and function, which we call the jet ski.
Now, this is actually Loki's true glorious purpose. As the god of chaos and mischief, he's always the person who instigates change by challenging existing institutions, both in the MCU and in mythology. Now he'll be the one to undermine the greatest institution in the universe, the TVA.
That'll be fun, though.
Yeah.
And there are other clues. When Ravana tells Mobius to use a coaster, he says,
Those rings are already there.
And she says the rings are all from him, but he doesn't remember leaving all of them. This implies that he's had his mind wiped repeatedly, maybe after a jet ski ride jogs his memory. Mobius also mentions not remembering artifacts in her office.
Where'd you get that one, the snow globe? I love those. I don't remember bringing back that case.
And the scene ends with him saying,
I don't remember this. This must be from that analyst you keep on the side.
So I think that Mobius was actually the variant on the side. Also, why does the TVA bother to arrest variants and put them on trial? If they're going to reset their entire timeline and erase everyone in it from existence, then why parade variants through their bureaucracy? Because the variants are potentially useful. If a variant has particular skills,
That's me.
like maybe Mobius was an investigator in his former life, then they have their mind wiped, but they stay on to work in the TVA. Or maybe some people are particularly obsequious and prone to following orders. This explains why this guy was erased for not taking a ticket. If you're too obstinate to take a ticket, then you can never conform to the TVA. This also explains why all of the technology at the TVA is so old and retro. The timekeepers needed tech that was usable for people from many different eras and was easy to train people to use. The TVA workers also hold a deep-seated prejudice against variants.
I don't want anybody out there to forget what you are.
Oh, your only hope of capturing a murderer?
No, a cosmic mistake.
That's enough.
Just like most fascist regimes rise to power by creating an enemy in their own people, by labeling some of their populace as the other. In this case, the TVA workers don't realize that they are the other and the very people that they are repressing. When Mobius recruits Loki, Ravonna's against the idea, but no one's like, oh, that's unheard of, no way. She just doesn't want him to recruit a Loki. Maybe because he's done this before, and all these Lokis that he has recruited end up jogging his memory, then his mind is wiped, and the whole thing starts again. The secrecy of the TVA is the biggest clue. The creation of existence is classified.
I'd like all files pertaining to the beginning of time, then.
Those are classified.
Okay, the end of time.
Those are classified.
Okay, what files can I have?
No one has ever seen the Timekeepers, and the myths people believe about them just sound ridiculous.
They're toiling away in their chamber, untangling the epilogue from its infinite branches.
I see.
And yet, Mobius has a curious nature that hints that he'll break from control, that he's done it before, and he'll do it again.
And how are the old timekeepers?
And he even hints at the capacity to change.
Is that possible? You can change?
I think it's likely that Sylvie was an agent of the TVA who was friends with Mobius. Maybe she discovered her true nature, then persuaded Mobius to break free from the TVA and remember his life, but then his memory was erased. Just like Loki's stories in Norse mythology, this would set up a tragic time loop where her own failure would repeat itself over and over and over. She's gotten tired of this cycle, so like Daenerys, she's decided,
I'm going to break the wheel.
Now she's going to destroy the TVA, free her friend Mobius, and everyone else. At least that's just my take on it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.